Welcome into the Boys Collective right here on 105 through the fan here on YouTube. My name is Kevin Gray alongside Super Bowl winning scout and 1/4 of the G-Bag Nation, Brian Broaddus, on this Monday where a lot of news, Brian, for America's team has been breaking, not just today as we record this on Monday, but throughout the weekend. Make sure you can find us on Twitter at Kevin Gray Sports. You can find Brian on Twitter at Brian Broaddus, and make sure you subscribe to 105 through the fan here on YouTube. Brian, good morning, and let's just jump in. The big news of today: Mike McCarthy has tested positive for COVID-19. He will be out on Thursday night against the New Orleans Saints as far as his head coaching duties are concerned. Now, there have been various reports this morning about who will assume the duties for head coach on Thursday night. One report coming from Jory Epstein of USA Today suggesting that it will be Rob Davis, the assistant head coach, taking over the head coaching duties, while, of course, Kellen Moore, Dan Quinn, and others stepping up. What are you hearing about who, Brian, could potentially take over on Thursday night as far as the head coaching duties are concerned?
Hey, well, I reached out to a couple people in the organization, and they were saying that I asked initially if it was going to be Bones Fossil. John Fossil was going to be the coach, and I got a no there. Let's be real honest here, KG. Rob Davis is a player programs guy. He is not a coach. He is not an on-the-field coach. He has the title of assistant head coach so they could get him out of Green Bay. That's how they got him, able to. But Rob Davis, a former player, a long snapper, but not an on-the-field head coach. To me, go with Dan Quinn, a guy that has experience as an NFL head coach. Dan could be on the field. They used Joe Witt during the season. If you remember a preseason game that Joe Witt got to call defenses when Dan Quinn wasn't feeling up to the task, there was maybe a little bit of a COVID scare then. So I kind of feel like, though, that if Jory, and I love Jory, I think she does a great job with her information, but I would be shocked if a player programs guy is the head coach on a Thursday night in a game that the Dallas Cowboys absolutely have to win. Okay. Now, I might be dead balls wrong about that, but talking to people in the organization, they haven't figured that out yet. And so my best bet would be Quinn, George Edwards, maybe, once you get past that, I think that's it. If you want to give Kellen Moore the responsibility, and that would be another thing. But me personally, I think they could do it with Dan Quinn, and then with Joe Witt being upstairs. If Dan wants to coordinate with Joe what's going on defensively from the field, they could sure do that. But man, Rob Davis, that would be the longest of long shots. And if that happens, count me as being shocked.
It obviously has been a serious disruption with what COVID has done to this team. Not only is Mike McCarthy out, right tackle Terrence Steele is going to be out on Thursday as well. Several coaches, including offensive line coach Joe Philbin, Scott Tolzien, among others, have tested or going to be out, on Thursday as far as COVID-19 is concerned. You mentioned guys like Dan Quinn, Kellen Moore, and others potentially becoming the interim head coach for the game itself. Give me the differences in how things you think could be ran if, say, Dan Quinn or Kellen Moore would be operating the game as far as game operations, play calling, and those type of things going into Thursday.
Yeah, they've got their hands full on the offensive side of the ball. If you look at things, with Tolzien being out, with the line coach being out, that's that in itself. Ben McAdoo took over some stuff last week with what they're helping out with the coach. The tight ends coach has been involved. I mean, there's a lot of things. I kind of feel like they'll try and keep things as status quo as they can on the offense and let Kellen just kind of do what he needs to do on that side. The best scenario to me would be the Dan Quinn. And the fact that Dan Quinn has Dan Quinn's coached against the Saints. He's coached against Sean Payton. He's, he was in that division. He knows the ins and outs of having to play at that place. To me, I think he can coordinate the defense down there, but also with the help with Joe Witt upstairs. If Joe makes a call, Dan could then be the one that yeah, let's go with that. Let's go with that. So I just think that his head coaching experience, and again, this is an important game for the Cowboys. I mean, you can't keep losing, even though Philadelphia, the Giants did you a huge favor yesterday. You just can't keep losing football games and be taken seriously as a team that's has aspirations to win a championship. So I kind of feel like that I look at them as all as must win. But to me, I think the guy that gives you the absolute best chance to go win this football game would be Dan Quinn as your head coach.
And I tend to agree. And you made a terrific point about the experience. Not only has he had the head coach, but coaching specifically in the NFC South, where he saw the Saints twice a year, and his ability to understand what Sean Payton and that offense is really trying to do. To me, that would make the most sense for the Cowboys to do if they decide to move forward with Dan Quinn being in there on an interim basis. You mentioned it. The Cowboys got a little bit of a favor from the New York Giants, defeating the Philadelphia Eagles in a really kind of an ugly football game, not going to lie to you. Yeah. Even though the Eagles ran for over 200 yards in that game again. But for the Cowboys, and you mentioned it, being taken seriously as a potential Super Bowl contender, losing on Thanksgiving Day to a Las Vegas Raiders team where we saw a record number of penalties for this season, 28 penalties between the two teams. I want to get your thoughts on this because obviously this is a crew that has been notorious for willing to throw a bunch of flags. In fact, this is the same crew that Tampa Bay and the Cowboys saw on opening night on Thursday night where 19 flags were thrown. Were the Cowboys, in your mind, adequately prepared to handle what could have been, what turned out to be, in terms of this officiating crew and the amount of flags that they did? Or was it just a simple matter of not adjusting the way that they should have based on they knew who was calling this game on Sunday?
They like to tell us, KG, that they meet, have game preparation, and talk about the officials and all that. And this is the second week in a row they've gotten to a game where the officials, where if you follow along what's happening, you're going, okay, Kansas City, they're not going to call flags. Let's hold our ass off and hope for the best and work that way. And then you get with the Vegas Raider game and you're like, guys are calling every damn thing. Maybe we need to take advantage of this. Maybe we don't need to hold. Maybe we don't, I mean, they like to tell us. I mean, Mike McCarthy likes to tell us and brag about, we're prepared for this and that. The bottom line is this is still one of the most penalized teams in the National Football League. It doesn't matter.
The most penalized team in the NFL.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. You can talk about this all you want, but you are the most penalized team in the National Football League. And is that on you? Is that on the players? Is that on preparation? I mean, all the above. So, people are always on me like, oh, you're too critical of Mike McCarthy. I'm critical of Mike McCarthy, the game manager. I appreciate the fact that he cares about Ezekiel Elliott's health. I appreciate the fact that he cares that CeeDee Lamb, it's too short of a window, even though doctors and stuff are saying, oh, no, he's good. Let's go. We could go. I appreciate him caring so much about his players. What I don't appreciate the fact is they continue to get stupid penalties. And they don't take advantage of, like in that Kansas City game, you're getting mugged the entire game and you don't mug them back. Or, you don't take advantage of the ball going downfield on third down when obviously the back judge, the side judge, the field judge, everybody else is throwing flags. That's a problem. That is a problem. And so stop telling me that you're prepared for this stuff and you talk about it with your team every night and then they go out there and get flagged as much as they do. I'm not buying that anymore. I'm just not. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and I think that's what bothered me most about the game itself on Thursday was we and a lot of folks had an idea like, hey, this is a crew that's going to be throwing a lot of flags. So in this particular game, your technique's got to be clean. You can't make the kinds of mental mistakes. And for Anthony Brown to get called for 4 defensive pass interference calls, I thought, especially the last one, not getting your head turned around, that's a simple matter of not giving yourself the opportunity to make a play on the ball, getting your head turned around. Those are technique things. Those are fundamentals that you know from day one. And I think that's what really got. Now, some of the calls in the game on both sides, honestly, were ticky-tack. But at the same time, the Raiders were the team that adjusted more quickly to what the officials were doing versus the Cowboys. And that, to me, and I think for a lot of folks, was something that bothered.
I'll tell you what, KG, the Raiders had some bad calls against them.
Sure.
But what did the Raiders do on third down? They said, you know what? We're going to get calls down the field. We're going to get guys, Anthony Brown. And Anthony Brown has played pretty well since the week one. Anthony Brown has not been a liability. The guy they've attacked is Diggs. That's the guy that people have attacked. But they figured out, well, just throw the ball to Deshaun Jackson, throw the ball down the field. Let's see if we could get a call here. I mean, both teams got bad calls, but you're absolutely right. The Raiders took advantage of really a lack of pass rush and your ability to not cover down the field and the officials throwing flags. And that was really the difference in that football game. But with all that being said, KG, they could have overcome. Sure. They could have overcome. Missed extra point, missed field goal, holding on a touchdown play that gets called back. Not blocking on the edge on a 2-point conversion. When the week before you throw a smoke screen with the same guy out there trying to block and he doesn't get it done. Those are, they talk about it again. We put our players in situations to be successful. No, you didn't. You asked Dalton Schultz to do something he's not capable of doing. And it's cost you a couple of times. Don't tell me these things. When you put McGovern out there, it was a 27-yard gain against Atlanta or a 31-yard game against Atlanta. Okay, if you're going to give stuff away, give stuff away. But, man, I mean, you needed those points. Sure. You needed the and luckily on the missed field goal that they didn't give up points there. They got fortunate. They gave the ball to the Raiders at midfield, and the Raiders got no points. But, man, that's the kind of stuff with Mike McCarthy I'm talking about. And let's be honest, they continue to work with this kicker. And he misses – you go look through his history of being with the Dallas Cowboys. He misses extra points. He misses a kick. Won a game. That's what he does. But they continue. He's our guy. He's our guy. He's our guy. Some point in time, your guy is going to cost you. And he cost you against Tampa, and he cost you. I mean, he made the game tying field goal this one, but you can't keep missing extra points. You just can't. Yeah, and this guy does.
His kicks were the difference in the game on Thursday in terms of the extra point in the field goal that he missed. 2 items that I want to touch on quickly before we get out of here. The Ezekiel Elliott situation with him still being hobbled with the bone bruise in his knee. Mike McCarthy saying on Sunday, look, haven't talked to Zeke, the idea of him playing. We still don't know as far as that status is concerned. And then the other portion, the offensive line shuffling that took place on Thursday. What is going on with this offensive line and what they're trying to do, trying to make sure guys stay ready or stay locked in? What have you made about both those situations in general and how the Cowboys approached it?
I have a better handle of the Ezekiel Elliott one because I had somebody over there tell me, it's like, listen, is he banged up? Yes. Is he hurting? Yes. But after he got the injury, he had 120-something yard rushing. I know the things have gone down. But this guy basically told me, you go be the guy that's going to tell Ezekiel Elliott he's sitting out this week. You go be that guy, and, no, that's why they're not going to have this conversation with Ezekiel Elliott. Mike McCarthy can feel sympathy and stuff towards Ezekiel Elliott, but Ezekiel Elliott ain't coming out of those games. If he can, and he's even talking about, hey, I'm feeling better. But, yeah, clearly there's something wrong. They're not blocking well enough. The ball plays they're running aren't good enough. Pollard's had a couple of runs. Heck, they had a run the other night that was a long run that got called back. They've got a couple of long runs that have been called back for holding and stuff like that. So the blocking hasn't been as good. Is Elliott completely healthy? He's banged up. But like I say, this guy told me, yeah, you go be that guy to tell Ezekiel and he ain't playing this week and see what kind of look you're going to get from him, you know. But, okay, the offensive line situation, you've got me. Especially on a short week, short week, not a lot of practice, and then you've got a coach that's missing because of COVID.
Mm-hmm.
What? Whoa, what are we, you know, you even tweeted out the picture of the thing that lucky that Dak Prescott didn't get hurt.
Yeah.
I mean, you saw what happened. You saw what happened to Terrence Steele. You're lucky that your quarterback didn't get injured, you know? And I don't know. I just don't know. I mean, you can tell me that Terrence Steele is in, and I'll tell you the reason why Terrence Steele probably got COVID. He's in the meeting rooms with Joe Philbin, probably getting extra work and working with him and meeting with him, and all of a sudden he gets COVID from being around Joe Philbin. Yeah. You know, I mean, give him credit. He wants to be in the meeting. He wants to learn. He wants to get better, but he's not strong enough. He's just not strong enough to play right. And it's a situation now. If you don't like Lyle Collins because you feel like he's selfish and he put himself between the team, then I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I can't help you. But he is a better player than Terrence Steele. And the fact that you continually run Terrence Steele out there when you have Lyle Collins available, and Lyle Collins hadn't played great, but he is a better, more powerful player than Terrence Steele. And the fact that you don't see that, you deserve some of the things that you're getting right now on that side if you're not going to play your best five.
It's always something with America's team, and this weekend was no different. We will be back on Wednesday for our game preview show to get you ready for the Cowboys taking on the Saints on Thursday night. Hopefully things will calm down a little bit by the time we get to Wednesday, because this was too much for me. We're recording this on Monday. This is way too much for me before noon, okay? Just way too much. But at the same time, we hope that things, in all seriousness, that folks are doing okay after having dealing with COVID specifically. So we hope that gets better as the day goes on. But you can catch Brian on the G-Bag Nation every day from 2 to 7 right here on 105 through the fan. You can follow him on Twitter at Brian Broaddus. You can follow me on Twitter at Kevin Gray Sports. We will be back Wednesday for another episode of the Boys Collective, our game preview show to get you ready for the Cowboys taking on the Saints. Brian, as always, appreciate the time. Take care, and we'll talk to you on Wednesday.
Thanks, KG. Be safe out there.
Appreciate it.